Hey, what's up, guys? Randall from Odds Jam. Going to look at some Sunday night football bets, see if we can find anything out there that has some value. I know Alex was just on here, shared quite a few bets with you for week 4 in college football. So going to go ahead, we're going to hop over to the EV page, see if there's anything out there worth betting. So we'll go ahead and we'll refresh this. Look, I mean, these lines are starting to come out now that you can take advantage of them for next week in the NFL. I mentioned on my stream earlier today, now is the time. If you're betting the NFL, now is the time to do it. This is when you are going to get the best lines. This is when this stuff is going to be popping up. Eagles -7 plus 105 on PointsBet. You can see rest of the markets -110 across the board. Looks like PointsBet's getting ready to go to 7.5. One thing that I always like to do, take a look at the look ahead lines. So like last week on Friday night, I took a look at all of the look ahead lines on DraftKings to see what they were for week 4, just to give me an idea heading into this week or heading into this next week, what we're up against. And so the reason I do that is I'm looking for, basic just overreactions to what happened the week before. Perfect example. This past week, Colts were shut out against the Jaguars. All right. The look ahead on that line was 3. On Wednesday, you could get the Colts off of the EV page. You could have got them today as well. Show them to you on the live stream. You could have gotten them +7, +6, +5.5. All positive EV plays, all great bets. And I mean, you essentially got 3, 3.5, or 4 points of value, depending on what number you took, simply because they were shut out last week. The Chiefs were on, national TV. So one thing I like to look at, and I'm going to just kind of switch gears here, and then we'll hop back over to the EV page. But I want to show you just some of these lines that are out there. And again, I'm just going to look at my notes here, just to see where these lines were. So just to see if there's any overreaction. And basically what I'm doing with this information is then I'm applying it to see if I can find something on the positive EV page. So, just simple kind of taking notes, betting with an edge based on kind of overreaction. So Bengals -1.5, that was what the look ahead was. So really no change there. The Dolphins beat Buffalo. I actually thought this might open pick Miami -1. Thought there might be a little overreaction. There was not. So, if this were to pop up on the EV page, Bengals -1.5, I would be all over this play. Everybody's high on the Dolphins. We can just see here. One of the cool features on Odds Jam is you can search by game. So we can just see, is there anything out there for the Bengals game next week? And it looks like there is. Looks like over 47.5. Is a play that's out there. Now, I don't write down the totals. I just care about the spreads. And honestly, I'm not even sure they give totals. Now that I think about it, I'm solely looking at the spread in that particular spot. So, one other game just that stood out that was somewhat, I guess, of an overreaction, if you will, was this game with Carolina. Carolina was actually +3 heading into this game prior to both of the games taking place today. So Carolina is now -1. So we've got a 4-point difference in this game from what it was 3 days ago. Nothing changed other than Carolina looked really good against the Saints. Cardinals looked pathetic against the Rams, putting up 4 field goals. So, Cardinals might be a play that if you can find them on the EV page, let me clear this out. If you can find the Cardinals on the EV page this week, it might be a good bet. You're getting expected value and you're just getting overall value. I mean, to my knowledge, Kyler Murray is still healthy. There aren't any big injuries. So that's one thing that I like to look at, in terms of kind of looking ahead with these NFL games. You can really get some value. Looking at the rest of the lines this past week, there's really not a whole lot out there. I mean, the Packers were 6.5. That's up to 8.5, but looks like Mac Jones, not sure what's going on there. Chiefs, though, however, Chiefs are -1. They're -2.5 now. So, maybe a little bit of value if you see the Bucks on this EV page. Probably worth a play. Definitely some value on the Bucks. Probably looks like it's moving to 3 when you look at that line. So just wanted to point that out. Here's one here, Seattle +235 on the money line. I know, again, just documenting just the openers. This was Detroit -5.5 last week. So you can get +235. So maybe a little value here with Seattle. I believe they lost to Atlanta. Didn't actually check that final score. Let's see here, just so I don't sound like an idiot here on the live stream. So yeah, they did lose to Atlanta. So maybe some value here on Seattle +235 on the money line in that particular spot. So let's go ahead. I'm going to turn the filters back on. I'm just going to refresh the page. I am going to hop over to the Sunday night game. So just give me a couple of minutes and we'll take a look and see what's out there for Sunday night football. Got somebody who asked me who I like for this game. I do have a play. I will share it with you here in just a second. Looks like there's some value here. Again, we're looking ahead. Ravens +160 on PointsBet. Really, really like that. I think that is tremendous value. You can see the rest of the market +148, +143, Pinnacle at +152. Like the Ravens a lot in this spot. And again, these are for NFL. If you're going to bet it and you're going to get the best of the number, you have to do it early. This by Sunday, the Ravens are a 3-point home dog. This will not be +160 on Sunday, barring some sort of injury. I would say it will land closer to probably Bills -2, 2.5, and the Ravens will be in that +140 to 145 range. So do like that. Taking a look here at Florida Atlantic -139. Looks like some very, very good value here on Barstool and Bet Rivers. You can get -163, or it is -163 on Pinnacle, -165 on DraftKings. So that looks like a very, very good bet as well. Washington State -4.5 after the debacle against Oregon. That looks like a pretty good play. You can get it +105 every other book. -110 on Bet Online. Very sharp book. -108 on Pinnacle. So again, for the NFL, sitting here refreshing this page on Sunday night, checking in again on Monday, it is really the time to do that, to get the best value that you possibly can. Iowa, Michigan here, under 43. Take a look and see. This looks like a pretty good bet. Pinnacle's -135. It looks like under, what did we say? Under 43, was that the play? Yeah, under 43, -107. Looks like under 43.5 at a couple of spots. Looks like it's at 42.5 at a couple of other spots. So this does look like a very, very good play. Iowa's last game actually went over against Rutgers. So would expect this to go back to the under there, and you're getting tremendous value from an EV perspective. So let's go ahead and jump over to the here we go, right here. Here it is, Bengals -120. So we just mentioned this on the live stream, or we just mentioned this a little bit ago. I said Bengals -120. There was zero overreaction as we looked on DraftKings. We can see it's -135. Oh, look at that. Just moved -2.5. So the Dolphins beat the Bills, and now this line's going the other way. Bengals is definitely the side here. 100%. If you can lock this in, PointsBet, Bengals -120. I hate Thursday night football, but this is a very, very good bet. This is only going up. We can see it already on DraftKings, -2.5. It's already moved just while we're on this stream. So pretty cool to see the numbers move, in real time. Numbers are constantly moving. These people, these professionals who bet on sports, especially the NFL, they're not doing it, a lot of the time on Sunday morning because most of the value is gone. So, Falcons +140 on the money line, Falcons +3 with some value as well. Looked like, let's see, Falcons won that game today. Falcons were +3. last week, and it looks like they are still, I'm guessing, +3 as well. So plus 140 on DraftKings on the money line, home dog here with Atlanta, Cleveland coming off of that Thursday night football game where they beat the Steelers. So let's go ahead. Let's switch gears. Let's jump over to the game for tonight. Let's see what is going on in this Broncos 49ers game. So earlier, plus EV play on the Broncos +1.5. Not sure if that play is still plus EV. I know Alex showed that one. I am on the Broncos +1.5 in this game. I think this is a great spot for Denver. 2 weeks in a row, everybody, I mean, you couldn't get enough of Denver. You know, they were the team to bet. They were the team to beat. Super Bowl champs, you know, crown them, Russell Wilson in Denver. Week 1, they lose in Seattle, which was no surprise to me. Week 2, they struggle against the Texans. San Francisco, on the other hand, Jimmy G gets hurt. I'm sorry, not Jimmy G. Trey Lance gets hurt. Jimmy G comes in, and, you know, everybody is fired up because that's what should have happened all along. Jimmy G should have been the starter, you know, all of this. And so I think the Niners are very overvalued in this spot. If Jimmy G looks bad tonight, you know, it'll be, we need Trey Lance back. So I like the Broncos here, plus the 1.5. Again, it was plus EV earlier. I don't know what that line was that Alex got. I cannot remember, but Broncos plus 1.5. I think definitely has some value here. Me personally, unless I just truly love a side, you know, like I did with the Colts today, I always like to take the points. You saw it yesterday, Arkansas, Texas A&M, plus 2.5. Goes off the upright. Arkansas loses by 2. I mean, taking the money line, definitely, if you can get value from an EV perspective, it's definitely worth it. But to me, you're better off just taking the points. I mean, especially with the extra point now being moved back, it's just not worth it. Broncos lose by 1, and, you know, you could have cashed this bet, you know, versus getting plus 107 if you took it on Bet Rivers. So I like the Broncos here, plus the 1.5. I think actually, at one point earlier, it was okay. It touched 2 briefly on DraftKings right before we went live, but it looks like it's back down to 1.5. So do like the Broncos in that spot. Let's go ahead and take a look at some anytime touchdown scores. I know everybody likes to bet those. I did look at my model here before I came down just to see if there was any value. Do have a couple of guys that I like. But in terms of, you know, true value, like long shot, don't really have anybody. These guys are kind of more favorites, I guess, if you will. Now, I only have 4 sports books in Illinois, so let me just go ahead and switch to a state like Colorado, see if we can get some more books up for you guys to really kind of compare odds, and maybe you're in a state with some more books. But in looking at my model, I do like where is he at? My model does like Javonte Williams. Again, pretty square bet probably for the most part. But plus 154 on Superbook if you wanted to get that. Actually, it looks like Tipico plus 160. So some better odds there. If I had to bet this, me personally, I would be stuck taking plus 135 on Caesars. So you can see, oh, no, I was looking at the wrong one. Plus 140, I'm sorry, on Javonte Williams. So plus 154 is the best number. Plus 155 actually on Betfred. So I'd be stuck with plus 140 DraftKings and Caesars if I were forced to bet this. Got a comment about the Chiefs. Yeah, I mean, that game, that was not surprising to me at all. You know, the Colts just, they never gave up in that game. Had a very, very questionable call, to say the least, on the sack with Matt Ryan, where Sean Smith threw a flag for something that Jones had said. You don't see that a whole lot. It wasn't egregious or anything, but he must have said something that was not good. So Chiefs lose that game, miss the field goal. Very, very, very interesting game, to say the least. So Javonte Williams, yeah, plus 140 is who I like to score a touchdown. I mean, we can look at the first time touchdown score. Let's see if I can find that here. I'm not sure what that is labeled. First touchdown score. We can take a look and see. I'm terrible at these, so If we wanted to take Javonte Williams, I mean, you could get plus 900 on DraftKings. That looks to be some pretty good value that's out there, plus 625 on Caesars. So pretty good value there if you wanted to take a look at that and bet Javonte Williams in that spot to be the first to score a touchdown. But I'll be on the Broncos plus 1.5 in this game. Locked that in earlier. So that's going to be my bet. One other thing I wanted to show you guys. So earlier, if you tuned in this morning, we were on the middles pages, or we were on the middle bets page, and Devin Duvernay popped up over 24.5 receiving yards, under 25.5 receiving yards. It was a middle bet. Had the opportunity to bet both sides, and if it landed 25, you hit both of them. Well, lo and behold, Duvernay, 2 catches, 25 yards. So this middles tool is great. Again, it doesn't happen a lot, but on that particular play, I believe I had just showed just a mock of if you were betting 113 on one side, and I think it was 100 on the other. At the end of the day, you ended up, if you bet that for those numbers that I had plugged in, you made close to $300 on this bet. Now, if it didn't happen, you were going to make, I think, $1 or $2. It wasn't going to be a whole lot, but it did happen. And so that's why taking these middles can be extremely, extremely profitable. I mean, even if it is a yard, we talked about, points being kind of key. Here's one here. I mean, this is a negative middle. So like you would actually lose money if it didn't land, right on 70. So this is probably not one that I would bet. But just to show you, I mean, you can find some value here. I mean, again, I'm looking for key numbers. I mean, this, if we could bet this, let's just say, for example, we could bet this. We were in Ontario, Chargers minus 8.5, Texans plus 9.5. I mean, 9's not a popular number, but I mean, it could happen with a missed extra point. Chargers win by 9. You cash the Pinnacle side, you cash the points bet side. So if you can ever find key numbers here, it's definitely worth looking into. Can really be a lot of value. I mean, here it is again, 6.5. Now, again, it is a negative bet. So you're going to lose money if it doesn't land on exactly 6, but you're only losing $3. And, you have an opportunity. If the Chargers win by 6, you push here, you win this, you win $103. So a lot of people like to take these middles, especially when they can get key numbers in football. So something to look at. I mean, NBA is right around the corner. Going to be a ton of opportunities there with player props as well. So be sure to check that out. I showed it earlier. I'll show it again just briefly. If you go to OddsJam, let's say you're not interested in the EV betting, it's not what you're into. You do like, kind of to do the middles or do some risk-free betting. You can do that with the plus plan. It's got the low holds, it's got the middles, it's got the free bet conversion. So, and you can line shop. So something to look into. I mean, if you did the plus plan today, you hit for, $300 and your subscription's been paid for 8 or 9 months, and you're just kind of free rolling here. So let's hop back over here real quick. Let's take one last glance at the EV page. Here we go. Bengals minus 2.5. Looky there. Bet 365 plus 105. If you can get on this play, Bengals minus 2.5, absolutely love it. Liked it at 1.5, but wasn't sure we would see an EV bet on that. Looks like the Broncos here on the money line plus 115 at Betfred with some EV value. Bengals minus 2 with some EV value. Falcons money line. Again, I've got my state now on Colorado, so some books that I don't have, but just showing you, kind of what is out there. So appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to call this stream and wrap it up. Head up and watch the Sunday night football game. Hopefully the Broncos can get a win. Hopefully we get a Javonte Williams TD as well. So appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will see you next time.